Warning: the following video utilizes copyright fair use notice Title 17 U.S. Code sections 107 through 118 of the copyright law. All media in this video is used for the purpose of review and commentary under the terms of fair use. All footage, music, and images used belong to their respective copyright holders. Hello again, I'm Bionic Slime, your online voice for reviews of your choice, and welcome to my end of the year top 12 movies of 2015. You've seen the bombs, now it's time to polish off the gold. It's my picks for the top 12 best movies of 2015. I was actually hoping to get this out before 2015 ended, but my holiday schedule was pretty packed, so this was the earliest I could really get it out. This was a very difficult list to put together. 2015 gave us some of the most impressively awesome-tacular movies ever. There were just too many great films to choose from. I actually considered expanding this to the top 15 movies of 2015. As I said before, in my worst movies list, the same rules that apply there apply here. Only movies I have actually seen will be considered. I was not able to see everything, so I might not have crossed paths with your favorite movie. Please remember these are my personal picks for what I consider to be the best movies, no one else's. If you're wondering what made me decide which movie was good enough to be considered the best, like criteria-wise, I judged it on how badly I wanted to own that movie and rewatch it again and again. Pretty much every movie on this list represents my desire to want to make it a part of my video collection. And with the exception of a few that aren't out to buy yet, I'm already well on my way to achieving this goal. So without further ado, let's reveal my top 12 picks for the best movies of 2015. Why top 12? Because I like to go 2 steps higher than normal, and 12 is my lucky number. Number 12, American Ultra. Kicking off this list is a movie I had very low, borderline indifferent expectations for. American Ultra took a ridiculous concept and made it dark, gritty, funny, and just surprisingly well done all around. It was a very different movie, but in a very good way. There was such intensity in the action scenes, creativity, imagination, and my favorite aspect was actually the excellent chemistry between Jesse Eisenberg and Kristen Stewart. I friggin' love these two together. I never thought I'd say those words or see these actors connect so well on screen based on their past performances, but they just clicked, and they just kept me interested and invested. I just love seeing them together in this film. I expected this movie to get, all kinds of different feelings and emotions, mostly just humor and silliness. It sounds like it shouldn't work as a movie, but it really does work, and it's a solid, explosively badass experience that gave me far more than I ever saw coming. This is the kind of balance of comedy and action I was expecting from Kingsman, so I'm glad at least someone got it right. Number 11, Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F. While I still feel Battle of the Gods is the superior picture, Resurrection F gleefully continues the DBZ renaissance by giving the fans what they want. This movie is a glorious piece of fan service that allows fans to see their favorite Dragon Ball Z characters in ways we haven't seen them before, while at the same time delivering the variety of battles that Battle of the Gods was noticeably absent of. Seeing Frieza back in action and having the old Z fighters battle it out against hundreds of alien soldiers on Earth was a visual spectacular feast I never thought I'd see. It's like a trip back in time, but nicely polished with some additional changes, surprises, and fresh humor to make this a worthwhile trip down nostalgia lane. I was fortunate enough to see this in theaters, and once the movie started, I was locked onto the screen and I never let it out of my sights. I was simultaneously pumped and captivated from beginning to end. Seeing the new characters like Beerus and Whis interact with Frieza and the other fighters, that was just so much fun. Now again, Battle of the Gods was overall the better movie, but Resurrection F has all of the best attributes of both the movie and the series, and it brings them together beautifully. Fan service or not, this movie was well worth the wait. Number 10, The Martian. This is the only movie on this list I don't plan on buying, mostly because I feel it kind of lacks sufficient replay value. But its technical standards and effects and quality still make it a magnificent film that I feel is worth pointing out. Matt Damon was what really sold it for me. I know he's the main character and he's supposed to sell it, but he really made me care more about his character and this movie and the plight than most films do. I loved his demeanor, his attitude, all the smart mouth responses he gave, mixed with the science jargon. It actually made him more relatable and easier to connect with. I smiled and laughed way more than I thought I would in this movie, and it's that great contrast of humor mixed into a grim situation that really sold this film for me. Everyone delivers top-notch performances here. I love the pacing, how everything took its time, but it didn't feel slow or boring. Everything kept moving at a steady pace, and it kept you interested. This movie is just gorgeous to look at in every aspect. It looks great, the acting is great, the script is great, it's just an all-around great movie. And it's one of those few movies that are on most critics' best movies lists that I actually agree with. Number 9, The Night Before. When I first saw this, I had no idea it was going to make me laugh as hard as I did. It didn't look like anything special, and I figured there'd be a few jokes that'd make me laugh, and that's about it. Holy shit, I damn near pissed my pants while watching this. Levitt, Mackie, Rogan, they make a surprisingly hilarious team. I love the bond they formed and how this whole movie is about essentially maintaining their friendship. It also connects to me on a personal level because it acknowledges how hard it is to be able to keep up with your friends as you grow older. It was the perfect amount of heart to be mixed in with the same kind of insanity and humor that Seth Rogen is mostly known for. That's how I know I witnessed a good movie. You get so much more than you thought you'd get out of it. And yes, I know having Seth Rogen doing drugs isn't anything new, but my god, watching him freak out on acid and ecstasy for 90% of the movie, it was just hysterical. He can sell any joke, any exaggeration, and still just be himself in every single movie. I was beat red with laughter throughout this film. It was a welcome surprise that gave me a hell of a lot more than I was expecting from it, both in heart and in humor. Number 8, The Avengers Age of Ultron. A lot of people said this movie falls short compared to the first Avengers film, and that it's too densely packed with too many characters. And while I agree on the latter point, this is still a damn good movie. It escalates all of the characters and their problems and their developmental levels to new heights since the first film. We got to see them hang out and be normal guys, tossing drinks back, meeting Hawkeye's family. For the first time, we see the superhero team as everyday friends, buddies, as well as kicking ass and fighting superpowered bad guys. We also got to see the Hulkbuster armor, introducing the Vision. We saw them fight other powered enemies like Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, and best of all, James Spader as Ultron. He was just fantastic. He was a smarmy, temperamental, psychopathic robot, and it was so unique for a villain like that. I even think this Ultron is more interesting than how Ultron was in the comics. Now, this is not a perfect film. Few films are, but I still don't think that's enough excuse to warrant the backlash people have been giving this film. The way I see it, if this is considered a weak Marvel movie, then I'll gladly take this, because this is a million times better than the so-called best DC has offered. Number 7, Krampus. I think I just found a new Christmas classic to watch during the holidays. Krampus was created by Michael Dougherty, who made the phenomenal Halloween holiday film Trick or Treat. And my god, he has done it again. This is one of the best mixings of comedy and horror I've seen in years. This movie hits every note and then some. Horror, humor, relatable commentary, family bonding. It even has some genuinely heart-touching moments. There was so much variety to this movie. It wasn't just a Krampus figure. There were other monsters and creatures, and 95% of them were all done with practical effects. I cannot tell you how happy I was to see that. Usually PG-13 rated horror movies sink like anchors, but this film didn't need an R rating based on how it was presented, and I was actually really impressed how effective effective it was using its PG-13 rating. Krampus is a weird film, no doubt, but everything from its actors to its clever script writing is handled professionally well. This is good. This is freaking Gremlins good, and I totally recommend those seeking horror around the holidays to give this movie a watch. Number 6, AntMan. I never thought I'd say this, but thank God Edgar Wright gave up making this movie because this came out way better than I hoped it would. The idea of passing the torch down from Hank Pym to Scott Lang in their very first movie was handled incredibly well. I was worried about it in the beginning, but man, with such a stellar cast like Paul Rudd, Michael Douglas, and Evangeline Lilly, this movie could not be anything else other than awesome. This movie approached the material in such a unique way, setting it up as a heist movie, keeping the humor fresh and constant. It really helps sell the concept just so naturally well, and Paul Rudd definitely fits the bill to a perfect T. The shrinking environments looked amazing, and that final battle with Ant-Man and Yellow Jacket on the toy train set was just the best. This is a fun, funny, fresh, and creative addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Ant-Man feels part of this growing universe while still maintaining its own distinct style and edge to make it stand out on its own as its own film. I have a blast every time I watch this, and I always will. Number 5, Jurassic World. I don't know why everyone shifted so fast from loving this movie to hating it this quickly. I've consistently enjoyed the shit out of this movie since I first saw it, and for a sequel to come out 20 years later after both Spielberg and Joe Johnston botched the first 2 sequels, I'd say this is an amazing comeback. It was really inspiring to see the park functioning, see how it would have looked up and running until the inevitable dinosaur madness happens. Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard were so much fun together. They had great chemistry, amusing characters, and they were just a joy to watch together. I also loved how the Indominus Rex was a legitimate monster. And after seeing every kind of dinosaur brought back to life, it was only a matter of time until we made our own. The idea that this Rex creature was pure evil was really interesting. All the other movies made it clear these dinosaurs are just large, dangerous animals. Indominus Rex was Satan in scales, and I thought that was such a great concept. This is the first Jurassic sequel that felt like a true continuation of the story. It kept me highly entertained, deeply invested, and I loved every minute of it. Number 4, It Follows. For a movie with such a simple concept, it really knows how to suck you in. It Follows is one of those rare horror movie gems that even stick up the ass critics recognize as something special. It's a gripping, tension-filled, slow burn kind of movie that literally has death slowly creeping up on you. The idea of something slowly following after you doesn't sound like it'd be great movie watching. It's the way this thing is presented and how the cast reacts to the impending deathly figure that just keeps coming after them that makes this movie such a gripping experience. You actually get to know and like the cast too, which is very different for a horror movie because now you got a cast you actually like and don't want to see them die, and that's rare in and of itself. I absolutely loved the music. It was like a modern retro remix throwback to horror movies of the early 80s. Kind of like a grindhouse feel, but not quite, and it gave the movie a very distinctive tone. Now, whether you like horror movies or not, do yourself a favor and see this movie. This really is a one-of-a-kind, amazing horror movie. Number 3, Trainwreck. When I first saw Amy Schumer, I liked her, but I didn't love her. She was funny and had a pretty decent show, but I never really got that into her. Then I saw this movie. Now I love her. Trainwreck was absolutely hysterical. It's a romantic comedy with a comedy style that appeals to every dirty mind, male and female alike. Schumer really did an amazing job with this script because it flips the face on so many tropes and cliches from past movies and makes them new and funny as hell in ways you never thought possible. Schumer is a very different kind of female lead. Bill Hader is a very different kind of male lead. Both are extremely talented and likable in these roles. And that's kind of the core concept of the movie. Different, but very likable. I also feel there is more truth than fiction in this film, and that's another reason I enjoyed it so much. Amongst all the comedy and crudeness, there's a sense of brutal honesty in Schumer's writing, and I greatly admire that about her. Even if crude humor isn't your thing, one cannot deny that Amy Schumer gave it her all in this one, and my god, what a hilarious effort it was. I still recommend it whether you like dirty humor or not. She's a great comedian, great writer, and this movie is living hilarious proof of it. Number 2, Inside Out. Pixar may have painfully dropped the ball with The Good Dinosaur, but luckily no amount of bad movie aftertaste could spoil their mental masterpiece, Inside Out. Pixar is the cornerstone of imagination and has been for quite some time. But this movie isn't just full of creativity and originality, it's damn near exploding with it. The idea of having 5 emotions come to life in physical form and operate our minds and emotions like one big giant playground setting is just absolutely brilliant. You could not have picked a better cast for this film. Amy Poehler, Lois Black, Bill Hader, Phyllis Smith, and Mindy Kaling, they were born to play these parts. I love the idea of the whole personality playground setup, how the memory orb system is designed and how it works, and the way Riley acts when joy and sadness are gone, and how she struggles to react properly to real world situations. I think we could all feel, kind of similar and relatable to that kind of situation at one point in our lives. This movie says so much about our minds and personalities, psychologists are even saying how accurate it is to our mental functioning. This is one of Pixar's best movies, maybe even the best they've ever done. It made me laugh, it made me cry, it made me love it enough to put it in as my number 2 best film. And the number 1 best movie of 2015 is Star Wars The Force Awakens. Of course it's Star Wars. Come on, it's freaking Star Wars. I don't know what else to say about this movie that hasn't already been said by everyone who has seen it. It's beyond awesome. This blew away every expectation, box office projection, hope, dream, and fan desire well beyond relief. This was nostalgic and it was new and fresh. It was action-packed and it was heartfelt and emotional. It was everything and more. Just hearing John Williams' theme music and watching Han Solo and Chewie walk onto the Millennium Falcon, I died and went to nerd heaven. And judging by the multiple standing ovations and applause breaks, the audience did too. Finn and Rey are excellent new characters, and they're beautifully portrayed by such talented new faces. J.J. Abrams has done the impossible and made Star Wars even more legendary than it already was. This is the Star Wars movie we've all been waiting for. I cannot say enough good things about this movie. I could fill up hours with why this is the best film of the year, and if you doubt anything I'm saying, then see it for yourself. See it multiple times even. It's that damn good. Well, those are my picks for the top 12 best movies of 2015. Now, what are your guys' picks for the best movies of 2015? Do you agree with my picks? Why or why not? And with which ones? Comment below and let me know which 2015 films rank among your favorites. That's all for now. This has been Bionic Slime for BS Reviews. Thank you all for watching and goodbye for now.
That's how you do an evil laugh. Ciao for now.